NBA champ and finals MVP said that Maxwell was crowned LeBron as the greatest of all time over Michael Jordan. Yeah, he crowned him, guys. Maxwell said, quote, he's the GOAT because not only on the basketball side, but social issues as well. He's been involved in every social issue that we look at. Shannon, does he have a point here?
Well, I think LeBron is the GOAT because of what he's done on the basketball court. Skip, I've tried to do a great job. I've tried to always do a job of separating what you do in your particular arena, be it the basketball court, the football field, or the baseball diamond, and then what you do outside of that. When people look at Ali, I look at what he was in the ring, and then I look at what he did outside of the ring. And I try to do a great job of separating those two, and I've done that with LeBron. And we look at some of these great athletes, Skip. The 60s is a little different, Skip, because there was no money in endorsements like it is now. No. And you see guys like Ali, and you see guys like Jim Brown. Now, Ali was fighting for his career. Bill Russell and some of these other guys, the baseball, Jackie Robinson, but that was different. Now you got $80, $90 million at stake, Skip, and what LeBron has done is LeBron has taken a stance that guys in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, before LeBron got in the league, would never, ever even touch. Let alone talk about, I'm going to go to a Democratic National Convention and stand on stage with the nominee, Skip. That was unheard of. Yeah. But what LeBron has done, LeBron is so comfortable in who he is, and he realized, yes, I've been very successful. I'm blessed beyond blessed. But there are plights that are still being fought by men and women of my color, of my race, that's not right. And it's just not good enough to be morally conscious. I have to be socially conscious also, and he's done a great job of that. I believe LeBron James is the GOAT because of what he's done. But when it comes to off the court, to try to compare him to Michael Jordan, it's almost like saying LeBron James is the best player and Michael is the 13th best player in the NBA. And
I don't know if you 13th?
Yeah.
How about way below that?
It's not even comparable.
Right.
Especially when they play. Now, Michael has gotten better since he's been away from the game, donating to causes. He issued a statement.
He did.
A couple of days ago about the racism. And the guy that was perpetuating racism in 1988 was in his state with Jesse Helms. Does he not know who Jesse Helms, Strom Thurmond in South Carolina, Herman Eugene Talmadge in Georgia? Skip, I'm from that area, so you know I know these guys very well. So
Republicans buy sneakers too. You know the statement.
Skip, I'm glad. But at the time that he's doing it, Michael Jordan did not want to mess with that brand, didn't want to mess with Jumpman, and so he was mum on issues. LeBron James says, yes, but I got to speak up. I cannot allow these things that I see that are wrong going on in my country and not say anything about it. I will not shut up and dribble. I am more than an athlete. So for me, Skip, I believe LeBron is the GOAT but there is no comparison with social issues off the court between LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
So every time we have the basketball debate, you know how I feel. I feel like it's blasphemous even to start this debate because I feel like lightning's going to strike us through the roof of this studio here on the Fox lot.
Right.
But every time you take it off the court, you got me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it.
I got
Game
nothing.
over, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't ever even try to defend Michael off the court, except to tell you, I was around him in Chicago, and I think he just had no interest in any of that.
Right.
And I also think he thought, I just don't know enough to know because I don't care enough to know. Well, that's who he was. I think he has grown. I think he has awakened, you might say, a little bit lately. I think The Last Dance, he took some heat for a lot of things that he didn't say, and I think it stung him, so he felt compelled to issue a statement. That was great. That was new and different. That was a man sort of maturing before your very eyes.
A lot better than that Bull Jive Tiger released.
Okay. Really? Okay. You think that?
Man, Tiger need to sit down.
Okay.
Education.
Okay. Well, okay. There's another one. So the point is, I have always applauded all that LeBron has done off the court, but he has a political heart. He has an activist heart. So do you. You were born with a political heart. I always tell you, I don't follow it as closely as you do. You are into it.
I am.
You are a qualified spokesman. You are a commentator who knows enough to know everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go into areas where I'm like, I'm out. I don't know. I don't follow it.
Right.
I think I was taught growing up, you can't change politics. These people all lie and cheat and steal from you, basically. And I don't know how to change it except to vote, right?
Right.
Okay. So LeBron is saying, I have the heart for this. He also is in a different place and time where via social media, he does get validated by his followers. And he has a whole lot of followers, both IG, Twitter, everything, Facebook, anything else, where he knows he is preaching to a pretty large choir now, a growing choir, both black and white, and of all colors, obviously. And yet, if you're talking about the GOAT athlete activist, well, I can't place LeBron above Muhammad Ali because LeBron didn't face or hasn't had to face the hardships.
Right.
I mean, in the 60s, when Ali was a conscientious objector, racism was out of the closet.
Yeah.
It was in your face.
That was a different era.
It was uncamouflaged. It was so different then. And this man had the guts to say, I got no beef with them Viet Cong, and I don't want to fight over there.
Right.
Well, you have to. You're going to get charged, and he got charged, and he got tried, and he got convicted. He didn't go to jail. Appeals lasted for 3 years. He lost 3 precious, almost 4 years of his prime. From 25 to almost 29, he gave it up because he didn't want to fight. Well, that's different than today.
Yeah, very.
And he had the guts, and he was a pariah, man. He was not well liked, and he came full circle to beloved.
It even skipped a lot of them. He wasn't well liked in his own community because there were a lot of blacks that had to go. They had to go, and they had to go fight Vietnam.
And they had gone before him. To your earlier points, many of the black men had fought already. And they're saying, we love our flag, we love our country, because they were part and parcel of keeping the country free.
Right.
Not sure we were fighting for our freedom in Vietnam, but that's a whole nother issue, right? Okay, so then we look at Jackie Robinson. Obviously, he had to break the color barrier and endure racism incomprehensible to me and maybe even to you. That kind of racism. And then we look at Bill Russell. He became the first black superstar in the NBA in Boston.
Right.
It's got a racist, at least an edge to it, right? A part of Boston is very racist, and it was out of the closet in those days. Well, what Bill Russell experienced, LeBron has no idea. Even in your era, you have you can't relate to that.
That's different, right? To hear my grandparents and like I said, Skip, I was alive. My grandmother, Grandma Lou, was born in 1902. She lived until she was 1990. And when I was a kid, wasn't going to school, my grandparents would drop me off over there, and I stayed with her. And so I know things. Skip, do you know the term a barrel of laughs? You know where that came from?
No.
In the South, black people couldn't laugh out loud in public. You had to stick your head in a barrel, and you had to laugh. Hence the term a barrel of laughs. So when you see, but that flag was flying, Skip, so you see things like, you hear things like that. The 60s was a different era for an athlete, Skip. Muhammad Ali was fighting. LeBron is fighting for the people. Although Ali was fighting for people, he was also fighting for his own career. He's like, them Viet Congs don't call me the N-word. They don't turn their dogs on me. They don't spray me down with water hoses. They don't go upside my head. Why am I going over there to kill them? They've done nothing to me. I should be fighting you. You're the one that's doing this to me right here in America. You said that I'm an American citizen. I should be free and opportunities. You're doing this, but you want to send me 2,000, 3,000 miles away to go kill somebody that's done nothing to me? No, I will not go.
Okay. And if we're talking about the GOAT of athletic activism, don't we have to put Colin Kaepernick in there?
Yeah.
Right? Because he sacrificed his whole career. And Kareem, very outspoken. Again, but Colin risked everything as far as his career went, not his life, but he risked his career and he lost it. Okay? Well, that qualifies it. That's goatish to me. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, I love everything LeBron has done, but he hasn't faced the roadblocks that some of these other men have. But he is fearless. He is courageous in instant. Like, whenever Drew Brees puts his foot in his mouth, I know that within an hour, I'm going to get a reaction from LeBron James.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. And normally, Skip, superstar athletes in one sport would never criticize a superstar athlete in another sport, or let alone his own sport. But that's not how LeBron's operate. If he feels you're out of line, that you've said something that does not align with the way it should be, he has no problem. And he was surprised. He was surprised that Drew Brees would understand. You think, Skip, but there goes that notion, Skip. Oh, he played with blacks. He likes blacks. You never, do we really ever know, Skip, what's in a person's heart and mind? And I think Drew Brees just...
The deeds will tell you a lot.
Yes.
And occasionally what comes out of their mouth will tell you something.
Skip, what was so about Drew, Skip, not to get too far off topic, is that Drew has been so good in the community in New Orleans. And you know New Orleans is heavily populated with African Americans. So he's been so good. I think that's why it caught people so far off guard, is because Drew has been so good in New Orleans, especially after Katrina.
He was.
And then you have this, and even if it's apology, Skip, he didn't mention anything about the kneeling and what it represented. Still the flag. So that's where he stands. That's where he is. But Skip, it's like you said, you look at Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, Jim Brown, the 67 Summit in 1967 in Cleveland, when a 19-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, he was the only amateur there. Willie Davis, the Packer legend, there were so many, I think Bobby Mitchell was there also. There were so many guys, Skip. And like I said, the 60s, that was a different ball game, Skip. That was different. I mean, there have been other hard decades, but for an athlete, because most of the athletes, they couldn't stay with their white teammates. They stayed in different areas. But that's not to poo-poo what LeBron has done. He's put his name, he's put his money where his mouth is on a lot of issues.
He has.
And he's made it cool, because now, Skip, you see even more athletes. And Steph Curry was marching in the protest. Klay